Labor Day. It's time to get outdoors and make your holiday weekend one to remember. And there's no better place to get ready than Cabela's. Get 30% off all Cabela's camp kitchens, furniture, and cots. $100 off a Ruger American Bolt Action Rifle with Vortex Scope Combo after sale and mail-in rebate. 15% off all in-stock canoes and kayaks. And $20 off Winchester USA bulk handgun ammo. Hurry in and gear up for Labor Day weekend at Cabela's.
Blog Talk Radio.
Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda D. Brown. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
Good morning and welcome to the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Lynda D. Brown. My guest today is Dr. Donald A. Ozello. Dr. Ozello is the author of the book Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries, a chiropractor's guide to minimizing the potential for running injuries. So if you're into sport medicine, this is definitely the broadcast you want to listen to. We're going to be right back to chat with the doctor about his book after a word from today's sponsor.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right, welcome back to the show. For those of you just tuning in, today's guest is Dr. Donald A. Ozello. Dr. Ozello is the author of the book Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries. It's a chiropractor's guide to minimizing the potential for running injuries. Dr. Ozello, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Lynda. I'm very excited for this interview. Really been looking forward to this.
Oh, same here, Dr. Ozello. And I just want to make sure I have the correct pronunciation of your name. It is Ozello, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, I am a doctor
All
of
right.
chiropractic. My office championship chiropractic is in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, that's a wonderful place to go to get some chiropractic work done. How long have you been in Las Vegas?
10 years.
Awesome. Okay, since this is the first time that you've been on the show, why don't we get started with you telling us a little bit about yourself? You can start with telling us a little bit about your practice and what compelled you to write your book.
Oh, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. Like I said, I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I have a family practice. I treat everybody from little kids all the way up to adults, all the way up to seniors. But the thing that I like treating the most is I like treating athletes. because athletes not only want to feel better, but they want to function at 100%. They want to be able to go out there and break their personal records. They want to achieve their goals. They want to be able to train and compete at their highest level. And when I was treating athletes, I kept starting, it was a pattern. I was seeing the same injuries over and over and over and over and over. Sounds like a broken record. Over again. And so I was educating my patients. I'm a big advocate of patient education, teaching people things that they can do outside of the office that helps them to prevent these injuries and manage these injuries. And so I started to write a series of articles. And those articles, after they were published, were the very foundation of the book, sort of morphed into the book. And so that's where the book started at. And the book has really taken off where, like I said, it's the prevention and management recovery of running injuries. And I have been able to cover injuries all the way from low back pain to sciatica to hamstring strains to knee conditions to ankle sprains to the high ankle sprain we hear about in the news all the time in sports and foot conditions. So the book is not only just for people who run, but the book is for any running athlete, people who play basketball, people who play football, people who run for training for their sport. We saw that in the Olympics where it may not be the sport that they participate, running in track and field may not be the sport they participate in, but there's a lot of running when we're talking about games like field hockey, lacrosse, soccer. So those are all athletes who would benefit a great deal from purchasing my book and learning as much as they can on the prevention and management of running injuries.
Absolutely. And oh my goodness, I really needed you I think it was my senior year. I used to run track, believe it or not, years ago, back in the 70s, right. And I got a really bad case of shin splints. It was absolutely horrible. Okay, so a lot of my listeners are people, especially women, that like to jog. So how could your book help them, Dr. Ozello?
Well, what it is, like you had mentioned shin splints. Okay, shin splints are an overuse injury. What happens when an overuse injury occurs is, first of all, it is what is just repetitive trauma over and over and over again, repetitive use basically. And you combine that repetitive use with inadequate rest between training or competitions, combined with some type of biomechanical fault. It may be a strength imbalance, maybe something's not moving properly. So when you put those extrinsic factors of overtraining and inadequate rest with the intrinsic factors of what's going on in the body, when you combine those together, that's where those injuries occur. So my book explains the strength imbalances that cause those problems, the biomechanical faults that can cause those problems, how to correct those, how to go about your training when we're running, when we're not running, our cross-training, how to rest and recover from training sessions, how to develop a good routine to train smarter. That is one of the things I always advocate, train hard and train smart.
Mm-hmm. That is so true, because back in the 70s, I think the only thing that my coach did was pretty much put some ice on it, rub it down.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what do you
think about that? I mean, that is going to be helpful after the fact, but it's not going to prevent the injury, and it's also not going to help you recover from that injury, and it's not going to help you prevent a recurrence. There's a lot of overuse injuries when we're talking about things like shin splints, plantar fasciitis, hamstring strain. Those are injuries that can reoccur and do reoccur if the biomechanical faults are not corrected. So those are things that I go over in the book, teaching people how to correct the actual source of these conditions, how to eliminate the intrinsic factors that are precursors for these injuries.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned in the intro that you treat all ages. So, do you have people bringing their children to you that are involved in sports to kind of get them on the right track before they really injure themselves at such a young age?
Absolutely, yes. Right now, my youngest patient, I think he's 7 or 8. I'm not sure. He just had a birthday, so I'm not 100% sure. But this young man does martial arts. You know, he's a very beginner, but he's having a good time with it. He goes with some of his older family members to the training, and he is progressing. And his family brings him in for treatment every once in a while, just to keep him moving properly, keep his spine and his hips and his lower extremities function the way that they should, so he won't get injured.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. My grandson, who is 8, likes to do MMA. My son hasn't had him in MMA. I don't know if he's still in there. Right. So that's something that we know now. If this is something that my son should be aware of in case he needs to take him in. That a chiropractor. So would you say a chiropractor as opposed to someone? And I know that you also basically deal with sports medicine, but why a chiropractor as opposed to just a sports medicine doctor? Does that make sense, or is it the same thing?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Very, very clear question. With the chiropractor, what we do is we help to restore proper skeletal motion. When we are doing that in the spine and through every joint in the body, I can take care of every joint in the body, not just the spine. When we are doing that, that optimizes nerve flow, so we get that proper nerve flow coming from the brain, going all the way down to wherever it needs to go, and then coming right back up without any interference. That is going to help to maximize the performance, and then it's going to help to make sure that everything is moving the way that it should, so that the body works as one entire unit. Because as a chiropractor, we look at the entire body. If someone comes in and they have something going on with their ankle, I'm not going to just look at their ankle. I'm going to look at the entire body and figure out what's going on with the structure and what's going on with biomechanics that is causing this. Because they may have something going on in the pelvis where that pelvis is uneven, it's not functioning properly, so the ankle is compensating for that and carrying a higher demand, setting itself up for injury. So that's why I recommend Dr. Chiropractic. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that you have treated athletes. Anybody in particular that you care to share with us?
Well, I was the team chiropractor for the Las Vegas Locos. They were the football team for when the United Football League was still around, and that was a really good time. I would have players come to my facility, and I would go to their facility once a week to treat some of the guys. So that was a lot of fun. I don't want to name anybody, but yeah, that was a great time, being associated with the team. And a lot of my patients are people who they work all day long. They work all week long, and then they compete in triathlons or marathons or martial arts tournaments or track and field. Patients like that, just, who they're not professional athletes by any means, but they're still athletes. They're competitive or they're recreational. One of my patients is 70 years old. He is competing in the Nevada Senior Games. He throws the discus, and I mean it's just been so much fun working with him. Yeah, it's
absolutely
great. All types of sports, all types of injuries. Yes.
Exactly. Now, I'm actually in the myself and one of my coworkers. We're over the age of 50. And so what we're trying to do is get back into making sure that we stay healthy. A lot of my peers, a lot of my relatives have had injuries to their hips, hip replacement, knee replacement. I'm trying to avoid all that. So do you recommend, what do you recommend for someone my age ready to start walking on a regular basis? What are some of the things that I need to do to make sure that I'm not going to injure myself by doing something silly like I did back, when I was in my 20s or even in high school?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I just turned 50 myself, so I know what that's like. As we age, we don't recover as fast as we used to. And the thing about that is, no matter what age or what fitness level that we are, we have to, if we are restarting a program, or it could be from an injury, from a sickness, or just from a layoff for any type of reason, the most important thing is you start at the appropriate level. You work at that beginning level that you're at right now, not what you were at 5 years ago, not what your friend is at, not what you want to be at, but what you are at currently. And you build in very gradual increments from there. Mm-hmm. What usually happens is people say, oh, when I was in my 20s or I was in my 30s, I used to run 5Ks. So they haven't run for 10 years and they try to get out and do a 5K, and that's a huge, huge mistake. And then also we get overzealous. We want to go out there and we want to do our thing and feel better, and we don't get the appropriate rest between training sessions. So we want to make sure that, like I said, we start at the appropriate level, that we build in gradual increments, and we get plenty of rest and recovery between our workouts, because that is vital. Your rest and recovery should be built into your training program. When we formulate our plan, we want to make sure that we have those active recovery days and passive recovery days. So those are just some of the basic fundamental points that I have in my book.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are, from our listening audience, we're talking to Dr. Donald A. Ozello. That's spelled Ozello. He is a doctor of chiropractic medicine. The name of his book is Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries, a chiropractor's guide to minimizing the potential for running injuries. Great title. Also a great cover. How did you come up with your cover, Dr. O?
That's kind of a funny story. My cover is actually the picture from my business cards. I took the picture. I wanted to keep the coloring of the book in a very similar fashion to my business cards, but I didn't want it to be exactly. So I took the picture from my business card and I just flipped it around so it faces the other direction. If you look at my book, the runner is facing to the right. If you look at my business card, the runner is facing to the left. So that's basically all that it was.
Oh, that's awesome. And a great way to market your book as you hand out your business cards. Do you have the title of your book on your business cards?
No, I do not right now. I have information on my cards, and I just didn't want to overload it with the book.
Sure.
But I will be getting. I'm working on book number 2, and I will be getting the business cards made, and I'm going to have both books onto the back of my card.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to take a quick commercial break, get a word from today's sponsor. When we come back, Dr. Ozello is going to read an excerpt from his book, Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries. So don't go away. We'll be right back after a word from today's sponsor.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right. We're back with author and chiropractor Dr. Donald A. Ozello, who's going to read an excerpt from his book, Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries, a chiropractor's guide to minimizing the potential for running injuries. Dr. O, what chapter and what page will you be reading from?
I am going to be reading the chapter Hamstring Strain. It is chapter number 5, page 26. It is actually the longest chapter in the book, just because hamstring injuries are something that is a very common injury that I see in my office. It can happen in traumatic and non-traumatic fashion, and there are numerous exercises that people can do to help to prevent this injury and to recover from this injury. So this chapter will help student athletes of all ages. It'll help adults and seniors of all ages.
Wonderful. Okay, go ahead. Start whenever you're ready.
Excellent. Chapter 5, page 26, Hamstring Strains. Avert hamstring injuries with knowledge and SMART training principles. Recover properly and prevent recurrence of hamstring conditions with correct and consistent self-management and professional treatment. Strengthen your hamstrings, stretch the entire lower extremity, and strengthen your core to eliminate factors which contribute to the occurrence and recurrence of hamstring strains. Anatomy. The hamstrings are a powerful muscle group located on the back of the thigh. This muscle group consists of 3 muscles spanning the entire length of the posterior thigh from the inner to the outer region. The semimembranosus, the semitendinosus, and the biceps femoris muscles make up the hamstrings muscle group. These long muscles originate on the ischial tuberosity, a bone in the gluteal region, and attach below the knee. The double-headed bicep femoris contains a long head and a short head. The muscles cross 2 joints, the hips and the knees. They function to move both joints. The hamstring muscles perform a multitude of functions. They contract to extend the knee backwards and flex the knee backwards. In essence, they contract in a positive or concentric manner. The hamstrings raise the heels towards the gluteal region. The hamstrings contract in an eccentric or negative manner to control the forward motion of the leg. This control is essential for proper hip and leg biomechanics. Activities such as sprinting, running uphill, and jumping demand a strong eccentric workload on the hamstrings to control forward motion of the leg. The hamstrings assist in thigh and lower leg rotation. When the hip is extended, the hamstrings assist in thigh rotation. When the knee is flexed, the hamstrings assist in lower leg rotation. The hamstrings provide stability to the knee joint. They assist in maintaining knee joint integrity and help prevent non-contact knee ligament injuries. The hamstrings assist the anterior cruciate ligament in preventing forward translation of the lower leg. They also assist the medial collateral ligament in preventing medial bending of the knee. A strain is an injury to a muscle. This is not to be confused with a sprain, which is an injury to a ligament. Muscle strains are classified by severity. Grade 1 or mild strains produce mild discomfort, mild tightness, and minimally affect activity. A moderate or grade 2 strain consists of moderate discomfort, sudden twinges of pain, limited ability to perform activity, limping, moderate swelling, and bruising. Severe or grade 3 strains elicit intense pain, significant bruising, swelling, muscle spasm, and inability to walk. Okay, now we move on to the next page, page 28. Okay. Return to activity. Multiple factors contribute to the proper recovery and return to running after a hamstring injury. Each individual injury is different, but as a general guideline, the recovery time to return to running following a grade 1 hamstring is usually 1 to 2 weeks. Grade 2 is around 3 to 4 weeks, while grade 3 is usually 1 to 4 months. Recovery time to running at maximum capability is even longer. Now, the mechanism of injury. Hamstring strains usually take place when a runner is sprinting, accelerating, or changing direction. A quick burst of speed places additional stress on the hamstring muscles. When cutting or changing direction, increased tension from various angles is suddenly placed on the hamstrings. A traumatic hamstring injury produces pain immediately. Oftentimes the runner stops in his tracks and grabs his posterior thigh. Traumatic hamstring injuries usually occur during the end range of hip motion and knee extension. Picture the leg stretched as all the way forward while sprinting. At this point, the hamstrings reach a maximal length 12% longer than when standing. The hamstrings are eccentrically contracting at their maximum length. This is where the muscle starts to contract in a positive or concentric fashion, placing a greater demand on the stretch muscle and tendon. Hamstring injuries can also take place insidiously. Many runners or lifters begin to feel mild twinges of pain in the hamstrings. The symptoms slowly escalate in intensity, frequency, and direction. Then they start to affect performance. Hamstring injuries happen for a number of reasons. Numerous intrinsic and extrinsic factors contribute to hamstring injuries. Common sources of hamstring strains include muscle weakness, strength and balance, muscle inflexibility, improper warm-up, and insufficient rest between training sessions. Numerous intrinsic factors exist. Strength and balance. Correcting strength and balances between the muscles in the front of the thigh and the hamstrings is vital in preventing hamstring injuries. The quadriceps and hip flexors perform opposite motions of the hamstrings. They pull the thigh and lower leg forward. The hamstrings contract eccentrically to control this motion. When the hip flexors and quadriceps are stronger than the hamstrings, the force exerted on the hamstrings is greater than normal and can result in an injury. This strength and balance is nicknamed quad dominant. Tightness in the hip flexors. Muscle tightness in the hip flexors overstretches the hamstrings. The hip flexors attach to the lower back and front of the pelvis. When tight, they pull the front of the pelvis downwards. Increased anterior tilt leads to poor posture, increased curvature of the lower spine, and amplified stretch on the hamstrings. Wow. Hamstring weakness. Weakness in the hamstrings is a precursor for injury. The musculoskeletal system is one synergistic unit. Overloading a weak muscle causes injury.
Wow. I'm going to have you stop there. Wonderful, because like you mentioned earlier, hamstring, you see more and more athletes, more and more runners dealing with this injury more so than anything. Thank you so much for sharing that excerpt with us. I also want to tell you how much I really appreciate. Oh, sure. I'm looking at your book on Amazon.com. And for my listening audience, currently the Kindle version is $8.99. The paperback is $15. He has some wonderful illustrations about everything that he's mentioning in his book. You did a wonderful job with this. And also, Dr. Ozello, you're getting some wonderful reviews about your book. So believe it or not, we're down to our last 3 minutes. Tell our listening audience how they can connect with you online.
Sure thing. Well, like you said, my book is available on Amazon. They can type in my name or they can type in the name of the book. I am on several social media sites, including Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and LinkedIn, so I could be connected on that. My website is championshipchiropractic.com. Now, I have to admit my website is under construction, or I should say reconstruction. It's going through a rebuild. If you go to my website, you'll see the first page that says under construction. But if you go down to the very bottom of that, you can click the link that takes you to my old site. And my old site is filled with articles that I've had published. It's filled with videos that I've published. And there's so much education sources on there that it is extremely helpful for athletes of all sports, all ages, all fitness levels. One of the things I want to mention in the book, too, is you had mentioned the illustrations. There are also QR codes to videos that I have done. So if you finish reading the chapter, For instance, we just read a page or 2.5 pages of the hamstring strain chapter. At the end of the chapter is a QR code that someone can use to get direct access to a video that I have done on hamstrings or running and hamstring injuries.
Wonderful. And like you mentioned, Dr. Ozello, you have did so many different articles about fitness, health, nutrition on Informer TV, Livestrong, is that livestrong.com? And like you said, and kudos, wonderful, kudos for putting some YouTube videos in there. More and more people aren't aware that you can actually put a link in your book, especially if you have the ebook, that people, if it's a clickable link, you can click right on that and go right to the YouTube video. So wonderful job with your book. I mean, I just have to really tell you first of all, how much I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing this great information. Trust me when I tell you, I'm going to definitely be promoting this book like I do every book and interview, but a lot of my authors that come on the show, a lot of them that listen to the show, a lot of my entrepreneurs, they're all runners. They're doing something to stay healthy because we know in order to continue doing what we do, we need to be healthy. So I want to make sure that those that are listening get a copy of this book, find out more about Dr. Donald A. Ozello, Ozello. This is the name. I like to tease him when I'm sending emails, and I'll put in there Dr. Oz. But, you just did a great job with this book. Wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on your show. I was very excited when I found out about your show and listened to a couple interviews that you had performed with several other local Las Vegas authors. Just did an excellent job. So when I was able to schedule with you, I was extremely excited, and I thought it went tremendous. And you are an excellent host. So thank you very much, Lynda. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, and we look forward to having you come back when Book 2 comes out, okay?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm shooting for summertime next year. That's what I'd like to have number 2 ready.
Awesome. Now, we are doing 2 different formats, and I don't know if I had a chance to email you this. I used to do this before, and it was a fiasco because a lot of people just weren't familiar with using Google Hangout on air, and that is using actually doing face-to-face interviews, sort of like you guys see if you watch Huffington Post Live, and you'll see the Google where you can actually see the author, and I'm also talking. So we're going to be incorporating that starting in September. So hopefully with the next interview, we'll be able to do that with you as well.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yes, that's outstanding. Thank you.
Not a problem. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing information about your book and your services. And again, we're going to give a shout out to your business in Las Vegas. So give us the name and the address of your business for those that are in Las Vegas, because believe it or not, we have some listeners in Las Vegas so that they know exactly where to find you, Dr. Ozello.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, my office is called Championship Chiropractic. It is located on West Flamingo Road in between Durango and El Capitan. I have been in Las Vegas for about 10 years now, and before that I practiced in Southern California, and I could be reached at 702-286-9040. And I could be emailed at dro@championshipchiropractic.com.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we look forward to having you back on here next year to talk about Book 2, okay?
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for having me, Lynda.
Not a problem. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Okay, we were speaking with author and chiropractor Dr. Donald A. Ozello. And again, the title of the book is Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries, a chiropractor's guide to minimizing the potential for running injuries. So again, guys, if you're a runner or a walker like I am, getting back in there because I want to make sure that I can continue doing this for the next 30, 40 years, you got to get a copy of this book. And when I tell you that he's got some amazing graphics in here, It's just a very well put together book. Great reviews on Amazon, and he's also his book is doing very well in the ratings with Amazon. So again, the title of the book is called Running, Maximize Performance and Minimize Injuries, a chiropractor's guide to minimizing the potential for running injuries. The Kindle is currently $8.99. Paperback is $15. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys back here next time on the Arthur Chat Show. Enjoy your Tuesday. Bye-bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike, you know.
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Labor Day. It's time to get outdoors and make your holiday weekend one to remember. And there's no better place to get ready than Cabela's. Get 30% off all Cabela's camp kitchens, furniture, and cots. $100 off a Ruger American bolt-action rifle with Vortex scope combo after sale and mail-in rebate. 15% off all in-stock canoes and kayaks. And $20 off Winchester USA bulk handgun ammo. Hurry in and gear up for Labor Day weekend at Cabela's.